Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. By dawn, most will be gone. Friday the 13th. This is the 1980 cult classic from director Sean S. Cunningham. Cunning is a bit of an overstatement given the fact that this is basically a ripoff of the 1978 classic Halloween, just with a thick lathering of blood-soaked carnage. I'm getting ahead of myself. The plot! It started in the 1950s. Tampering, igniting, and murdering.
Nobody knows who did any of them.
All has been silent for a while. It isn't until the summer of 1979 when news of the reopening of Camp Crystal Lake enters hate-filled ears, and the horror begins again. Despite my bold statement of this being a Halloween ripoff, I still love this flick. It's got a serious charm to it, even some class that some might not notice. Even with all my admiration for the film's aesthetic, I cannot deny that it falls into some of the same trappings that Halloween had. I'll start with my comparisons to Halloween, and then talk about the film itself. Much like 1978's Halloween, the acting is hit or miss, with an emphasis on the latter. In Halloween, we arguably had way more quality acting, but one cannot deny the ultimate powerhouse that is Betsy Palmer, who only took on the role to get a new car. However, even some of her own scenes lack some punch. The scene where she's talking in Jason's creepy voice is unsettling, even creepy, but it then switches back to Betsy Palmer's performance as Mrs. Voorhees rather quickly. I don't expect her to look or act like Jason, but the transition was just too unchanged. I was expecting some confusion on her face, like, "Kill her, mommy. Kill her. I'm gonna kill you!" Instead, she just holds that stare. It's intimidating, but not that realistic. Halloween was a quaint little flick with a minimalistic approach. Friday the 13th went for the jugular and ripped it out. Halloween definitely excelled in areas that Friday the 13th did not. The mystery as to who is killing people at the camp is done rather poorly. The killer is revealed right before the climax. No introduction, no hint as to who it was. It does come as more of a shock, but then it just raises more questions. 1980's Friday the 13th could have been so much better if the script had been rewritten and reworked a little bit. Still, I will not be rating this flick based solely on a few things. It has to take a lot more for a rating to actually be put into place. Different factors, you know.
We're going to play strip Monopoly.
5 stars.
Just when it was getting interesting.
For the characters, we have Alice, played by Adrienne King. She is frail and is having relationship issues with her boyfriend, who lives in Chicago, and she'll wish she had left earlier, based on what happens during the night. King's acting is a bit hit or miss. She does seem genuine in her performance, and her scream cannot be topped in this flick. However, her emoting is a bit overly dramatic sometimes.
Stop being so overdramatic.
Bill, played by Harry Crosby, is the handyman of the group. He's painting things, knows how to work the generator, all that good stuff. And he also tries to figure out what's wrong with the car. He thinks all the inconveniences are just one big prank by everyone else. He is a good guy, though, and does try to comfort Alice the best he can. Steve Christie, played by Peter Bauer, is the head counselor as well as the owner of the camp. He's put in a lot of time, energy, and money into this place, and wants to get stuff done fast and right, and has the hots for Alice and seemingly an old fugly waitress from the restaurant in town.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap that tapioca-loving ass.
Brenda, played by Laurie Bartram, could have easily also passed as the final girl. She's got a maturity to her that the others don't. She goes to bed in her nightgown and picks up a book to read before bed while everyone else is playing strip Monopoly, but she did start, but she stopped. And having sex, pretty much. Or playing pranks. One or the other. Or one of the three. And that doesn't mean she's all wholesome all the time.
Warning, the following audio may be disturbing.
Why don't you see if Marcy left any of that grass?
Marcy, played by Janine Taylor, is the most promiscuous one, but she does have a nice girl quality to her. She, along with her boyfriend, have some of the funniest lines and exchanges in the film.
Jesus, what are you doing? There's a snake in here.
Why are we in here?
Speaking of the man of the hour, Jack, played by Kevin Bacon. You know, Tremors, Hollow Man, Death Sentence. He pulls off a charming southern man pretty well. He's laid back and quick-witted.
What about Ned?
I don't love Ned.
He keeps acting like such a jerk.
Ned is the buffoon of the group, the class clown, if you will. His acts are rather dangerous too, like shooting an arrow straight past Brenda into a target and pretending to drown in the lake. Still, he has the hots for Brenda and seems to be jealous of Jack and Marcy's relationship. Crazy Ralph, played by Walt Gordy, is the doomsday sayer red herring of the group. Well, I mean, of characters, not of the group of teens. He tries to warn them as much as possible, but it's always in vain. Maybe if he didn't go about it being so creepy. It was inevitable, I guess. And finally, there's the immortalized Mrs. Voorhees, played by Betsy Palmer, who steals every frame she's in. She starts off as a sweet, middle-aged woman, but quickly devolves into raging maniac. Her transition is a bit theatrical, and that makes it a bit cringy in parts, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Friday the 13th came out in a time where the 80s were coming in, and the 70s were still lingering around like a nice aftertaste. The atmosphere of the film is warm yet wet, joyful yet spooky. It is the ultimate campfire story that many have tried to imitate, and some have come close to the haunting nature of this first film. However, none captured the magic in the bottle that is Friday the 13th. When the sun shines, it glistens off the waters of Camp Crystal, as well as the leaves throughout the forest. When the rain comes, it dampens the wooden cabins, while a cozy roaring fire is taking place inside. What else do I love about this film? The gore, the effects. We get a few slashed throats, some bloody bow and arrow action, an axe to the face, and a gnarly decapitation. I love them, but there are a few off-screen deaths that are alright. The aftermaths usually don't make sense, like when one character is pinned to the door with arrows and has his throat slashed, like how did that even happen? Counterproductive. Not to mention less than plausible when you find out who the freaking killer is. That could be said about most of the deaths in the film. Tom Savini, who previously worked on 1978's Dawn of the Dead, knocked it out of the damn park. Ditching the paint-like blood from his previous film, he created a lush, vibrant, and darker tint that's really popped with the harsh blues and blacks of the film's color palette. There's also dark green in there as well. The motion picture soundtrack, Harry Manfredini, who also composed 1986's House, relied heavily on Bernard Herrmann's 1960s Psycho soundtrack. Still, it's got its own identity with the iconic, which was supposed to be standing for Kill Mother, but it more sounds like There are also some more heartfelt and beautiful pieces, including the haunting closing titles and the soothing Sail Away Tiny Sparrow, both versions, female and male vocalists. I do prefer the female vocalist, though. It's a great and fitting score. I absolutely love it. I will always watch this over Halloween, but undoubtedly, Halloween is the better film. And as for Friday the 13th itself on its own merits, it's a classy slasher, with a glass of champagne in one hand and a hunting knife in the other. It's not subtle, but it does have a charm. It's a twainy tale of twisted horror. It's the hidden emotional tone of the film that hits the strongest. It's the best country blues version of a slasher film. And if that don't make you feel something, I guess I'm just an old soul. Overall, I give Friday the 13th a 2.5 out of 5. You've been watching Shark House Entertainment. I have been your host, Brian Gadd. Let me know what you think of this film and what is your favorite Friday the 13th film. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And as always, subscribe. No, don't turn out the lights.